Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Meeple has landed.
By the way.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Vitruvian Meeple's production of the Powers That Be Acclaim the Sky campaign. I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple, here as always with Patrick, ECAT, Matt, Julie, and Ray. I'll fix those windows in just a second. We are here to play some CYPHER System Supers. Claim the Sky is the name of the supplement. Our campaign is called The Powers That Be. This is issue 24, and it's called The Boys Are Back in Town. So, that being said, I'm going to pass it over to our GM, Patrick. Patrick, please, take us back into the world of Excelsior.
So, when last we met, our fine early morning activities of going down and getting some coffee at the local shop along with a muffin as big as your head were interrupted by a string of individuals who were wearing clown makeup trying to hold up the shop, threatening to shoot the coffee maker if they indeed did not get all of the money and stuff that people had. And this kept happening over and over and over again. And it left off with a couple interesting things. Crash snuck onto an ambulance that was carting away a couple recently deceased clown people. And one of the big heroes of Excelsior, Statesman, had dropped by to, figure out what was going on, talk about what was happening down on the other side of town over on Rikers Island with the gigantic circus. And so things have kind of quieted down a bit. They're mopping up the last of the blood on the floor, of course, because you can't really run a coffee shop when there's lots of blood on the floor. There's rules against that. In spite of the fact that the person running the coffee shop at the moment would just shoot the person in charge of doing a health inspection at the moment because she's had a day too. So the crew of you are hanging out, and as I said, another ambulance has shown up, and they're dragging off the last of the clowns that had recently, three more had popped into the place, and y'all and Statesman and Calamity and Bill just wiped them out. But in mere moments, it was delightfully gory. It was horrifying. For anybody who was still remaining, there's probably like 2 or 3 customers who just have not gotten up and left yet, because the coffee's that good.
And it's New York.
Indeed, they are shooting at me. What do I care, right? So Statesman watches the last of the bodies getting hauled out, turns back to the rest of you. So you're having an issue with our neighbors.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, well, it's more like subscriptions, man. But
they are getting to be a problem. Unfortunately, the circus is open. I'm a little concerned about stopping by there to fix things because there'll be a lot of civilians about. Although there's the other half of the island, I could just go, indiscriminately punch everybody in because who's going to stop me, right?
And I just mutter indiscriminately under my breath.
hey,
He struts over.
certainly we are doing our best to monitor the situation and try to get to the bottom of what this is all about, because there are cats in play here that don't normally play well together, which has us more than a little concerned.
Yeah, that is like just the circus and Memento Mori hanging out on the same island together. They have fought many times in the past. They are not friendly with each other, and here they are hanging out on the same island, just having a wonderful time. Concerns me the person who brings them all together. I'm not really buying yet whether or not Erebus is a super villain, but this one has me worried. I have to say. Well, as worried as I get about people, because once again, I'm sure I could punch his lights out. He may be fast. I'm faster. He strolls over to the coffee bar and says something really off to Calamity. Hey, sweetie, how about a cup of Joe? She stares at him with that look of, I could put a pair of bullets in his eye sockets, but I don't know if it's going to do anything. Fine, I'll just make a damn coffee. Grumble, grumble.
Might make you feel better.
True, yes. So meanwhile, Crash, you are concealed in the back of a van with a clown partially on one of your legs, and you kind of want to wrench it around to move it, but you don't want to alert the two other people in there that there's a, let's see, seventh person inside the ambulance with them.
An unplanned passenger, a stowaway, you might say.
Yes, indeed. And you just hope one of them doesn't want to stand up and walk down the aisle, because they'll just walk right into you, and that'll be awkward.
Okay,
but fortunately,
I kind of was assuming that there was like a barrier between the patient care area of the ambulance and the cab, or was I wrong about that?
I was assuming that it was kind of free between them.
Okay.
But I haven't seen a whole lot of the inside of an ambulance since TV shows in the 70s,
Right.
80s, so I'm not sure.
So I am
the only time I was in one, I was thoroughly unconscious.
So yes, as a matter of course, I am staying invisible the whole time because I can do that for free.
The vehicle travels for, you figure, no more than about 15 minutes. So it travels down the road, hops up onto the freeway, hops off the freeway very quickly. You figure you're in the, from you, because you can see out the windshield. It's not much of a problem. You figure you're in the southern part of Queens, maybe just about to sneak over into the Bronx. They pull into what looks like a standard just building, kind of industrially, a bit of a warehouse. The big door opens. They just drive right in. You hear it close behind them. It's fairly dim inside. They pull ahead, off to the side into a parking spot, stop. Both of them just pop out of the vehicle and wander off. They've left the doors open. They have not inspected the people in the back, who they are, obviously suspecting are still deceased.
Yeah. So at this point, since they were so nice to leave the door open for me, I will simply slip my way out of the vehicle and take stock of my surroundings.
All right. The first thing that you notice is there is branding on the walls. There is a big STEM icon with the letters STEM written across it. Hang on, I have to look at these subdivisions, see if they have one for these guys. Yes. And the underneath the stem are written letters BAM, and the small letters associated with it says the. Let me get back up there. The Bureau of Advanced Mechanics.
Okay.
If you were Ray, of course, you would know what the Bureau of Advanced Mechanics does for a living.
Yep.
But he's on the other side of town at the moment. So there are people walking around in lab coats. There are, on one side of the room, those large industrial shells full of those really big, heavy-duty totes that have like the wheels and handles on them and stuff, just laid up, and it looks to your mind like a whole bunch of equipment or weaponry secreted on one half of the place. The other side, they have a bunch of medical beds and gurneys lined up along the wall, and in a couple of them already are a few clowns. And a couple people dressed nominally like orderlies, sort of, but in STEM wear, open up the back of the van and start dragging these guys out and just carrying them by the, each one gets an arm and a leg, dragging over and plopping them onto these gurneys.
Okay.
It does not look like a sanitary operation or any sort of actual medical environment.
Okay.
You're kind of looks a little slapdash, put together quickly.
The clowns and whatnot that are on the other gurneys, do they look alive or do they look dead?
They look dead.
Okay.
And once again, though, these very similar to the previous ones, they do not look like professional clowns. They look like people painted up like clowns, wearing wigs or whatnot.
Okay. Being all stealthy and invisibilized and everything, I am going to sneak around. So the Bureau of Advanced Mechanics, you said?
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can figure out if any of these poor unfortunate souls have been, say, altered with any of these advanced mechanics.
Okay, so you're going to sneak over and take a look at them a bit more closely.
Yep.
Okay. So, let's see. No, you're pretty thoroughly invisible at this point. There's nobody in the room who could see you even if you weren't really. So you go over, and it's quite obvious what happened to the first one. They have suffered some extraordinarily brain trauma and are missing a limb.
Okay.
This is the sort of thing, like you figure like statesmen might have gotten to them because it's pretty grisly. It was, whatever happened to them was pretty thorough. Like a limb was removed and then their head was bashed in with said limb. Just one of those like, oh. Ew. But otherwise, the body does not look to have been tampered with yet.
Okay.
So you've got that going for you. The other one that was already over there has a similar thing. They have fairly extensive burns on part of their body. Something, incinerated them in a very controlled fashion, as most powered peoples have when they can incinerate things. So they're just, horribly burned and then dropped dead, and then the fire went out.
Okay.
So the couple of orderlies start plunking the other ones in. Just kind of look at them like, ooh, that was, that was. Oh, check this guy out. Wow, does he have like cat scratches on him? Yep, yeah. That's the thing. This must be from up in Queens. Just trust me.
So I'm going to, as surreptitiously as possible, click the record button on my little GoPro. So
okay.
Getting more use out of that equipment cache cipher than like anyone ever should. It's great.
I know, right? Well, it's a GoPro camera. I mean, it's useful.
Yeah. And really, if you took it away from me, I just go, well, okay, who am I kidding? I'd steal a new one. But
there's going to be a small bodega shop somewhere around the corner,
yeah,
run by a couple of brothers who have argued with each other since the 70s, who will have just boxes of these things just sitting there. Oh, you want one? Here you go. It's $28.50. No, it's $29.50, you jerk.
At that point, I'm already like 5
Already
blocks
out the
away.
door. Filming yourself already with it, robbing them.
Oh yeah.
So once the clowns have been put on, the drivers get back into the van. It pulls out, and as it pulls out, another one pulls in, carrying a couple more clowns, strangely enough, from the same fight. These are the ones who had arrived late and suffered an even worse fate than the other ones. They are grisly. Ooh, just people were getting tired of their bullshit, obviously. So you note that the one that had been injured that Bill was dealing with has not made an appearance. You call that one because, the particular clown makeup that she was wearing and the wig that she had on. But she's not here. This is all the corpses.
So, you said there were 2 corpses in the ambulance with me, right?
There were 4 with you.
Okay.
2 already there, and 3 more show up.
Okay, so the one that just came in is basically down a body.
Yes.
Interesting. In all the wrong ways.
Mhm.
All right. All right. I'm gonna finish examining the rest of the bodies here just for anything interesting, and then I'm gonna do some reconnaissance around the base and try to see if I can figure out where they might have brought that 4th body.
Okay. So you start poking around. A freight elevator in the back, a very large one from the looks of it, comes up. You hear the doors open, and 2 folks step out of it. One is the scientist that you had made contact with earlier. And the other one is USA,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
dressed up in his full regalia, looking very much the superhero with his huge honking pistols on his side, which are basically rifles tooled up to look slightly like pistols because, he doesn't have to worry about recoil. He's that strong.
Yeah.
And he's discussing with her like, well, just get them cataloged. Let me know if anything new comes up, and then otherwise we'll see to their proper burial. All right. Fine, she says, and takes out the ubiquitous oh shoot, why did that word just slip out of my head? The thing you snap papers onto. Clipboard. He pulls out the ubiquitous clipboard that people have and goes over and just starts analyzing the bodies, basically going through what killed all of them, which once again, for the most part, they don't need a good autopsy. It's obvious when somebody gets beaten up by somebody with powers. USA is standing there for a minute, kind of just watching over the scene, looks at his wrist communicator, which also doubles as a watch, of course, and puts his arm back down, kind of looks around, looks over at all of the stuff stacked up on the side, and is just kind of standing in the middle of the room waiting for something.
Is there any other loose paper and perhaps a writing implement that I could...
Yes, there are some desks around. There's one near the shelves that you imagine is wherever the person in charge of all of that stuff sits and, checks things in and out. So of course, there's always scratch paper around.
Okay. I am going to... So from a desk that is behind US Asshole's back, I'm going to slip a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm going to write it's crash. Actually, no, I won't do that. I say, I'm here. Don't be shocked. And I'm going to sign it with what looks like the ring of shattered glass in the shape of a C.
Okay.
and I'm going to as stealthily as I can, with my stealth that is automatically eased by 6 steps when I'm invisible, slip it onto her clipboard, so that hopefully hopefully at a time when U.S. Jackass is not looking in her general direction, so that if she doesn't follow the part that says "Don't be shocked," he hopefully will not see.
All right, fair enough. You slide that in there, and she's in the middle of writing down, very technical sounding words for things like limb removed and then head bashed in with said limb missing currently. And she stops, looks at it, takes it out, flips it off, folds it up, puts it into her pocket, and then goes back to what she was working on. Mass exsanguination through 14 bullet holes. Damn. Somebody had to reload in the middle of that. So back at Sunbucks.
Mm-hmm.
So things are getting cleaned up, and Statesman is there enjoying his cup of coffee, leaning against the bar in the front, just looking out into the street out the window, just trying to look like he's thinking deep thoughts. Trying desperately. Guys have been...
Meanwhile, we all know better.
Meanwhile, his thoughts have a
certainly
little
know
sign
better.
that says "No diving."
You've seen his problem solving at work, which involves if you cannot smash it, he's not quite sure what to do about it. But since he does not have a team to work with, he solves all things that way. So if there's some hostages, he'll just move very, very quickly, bust the door in, beat up all the captors, and everything should work out fine. And if he's not quite as fast as he thinks, well, if you save 9 out of 10, that's 9 lives you saved.
Well, at least he can count.
Okay, I want to go wander up to the bar, the counter, to get myself a refill. And as I go by, I kind of wave my fingers in his coffee's general direction, just to turn it into a little block of ice when he's not looking, because he's annoying me. Just because.
So he's standing there trying to think. Then he picks up his drink and he tries to drink it. And then he shakes it a little bit, and then the hunk of ice dislodges from the cup because, of course, he's extraordinarily strong, and smacks him in the face before sliding off and hitting the floor.
I pretend not to notice, but I'm smiling under the hood of
He's
my...
just kind of looking at it and heads back over to get some more coffee. The bell rings and 2 more people walk in. I don't have icons for, so hopefully you don't try to beat them up. They are a woman in a very nice business suit and a kind of queer-looking individual who is wearing a trench coat and a hat, kind of like a 1940s or 50s era hard-boiled comic and hard-boiled pulp detective. It's kind of the way this individual's dressed up. He has quite obviously a firearm secreted on either side underneath the coat, as you can kind of see them poking out.
Is the coat billowing without any visible wind or anything like that for
No,
extra
no.
dramatic?
No, he's not the movie version. He's the book version.
Okay.
But basically, Bogey and McCall have just walked in.
Yes.
Okay.
She has very dark hair and to your average American's mind, fairly exotic looks. And as she talks, she has a very thick accent. which of course, since Jack is in there, Jack, she has a Romanian accent,
Oh,
Northern Romanian to be precise. So kind of like that Transylvanian thing going on. But once again, not
interesting.
Hollywood Transylvanian accent.
But
actual,
actual, yeah.
Yeah.
As we would say, Caucasian from the Caucasus.
Exactly. Yes. So, and if anyone would like, you can do a spot hidden roll on the individual that is with her.
Oh, sure.
The target will be a 4.
That also fall under sense of the weird.
Yes.
How about
Yes,
assessing danger?
Yes, you can assess danger on him. That will give us something else.
Do I need to hit her? That's my skill set.
Well, yeah. I'll target.
Probably not. I wouldn't recommend it in this case.
Okay, fine. I'll.
Target level 4.
Target level 4.
Okay. No, wait, do I have any? Okay, boom, boom. Sure.
Oh God.
Here's, I'm gonna
right.
put some effort in it. Nah, I'll be fine. This is just yeah, no.
And Jack, are you do you have any associated skill with that?
Well, there's perception or noticing small details.
Noticing small details will work.
Okay. I tried to roll it. Let's see if it. Yep, that works.
Meanwhile, Gen X didn't even notice them walk in the door.
Oh, wait for it.
Um,
So as they come in, Neva, you notice that there is something really off about how this guy looks and how he moves. You're trying to piece it together, but then you realize something before too long is that his eyes aren't human. The color of the irises is a flat color. Like usually when you look at someone's eyes, they're varied, and because it's just how irises are built and whatnot. That this guys are not like that. They're a uniform brown color for irises. Jack.
Yes.
You look at this guy, and he seems pretty freaking fascinating to you, because you are fairly certain that he is a cyborg of some sort. He's a person, he's breathing. On the other hand, those are not human legs, and those are not human arms, and those are not human eyes.
Okay. But
He
he's
has
got.
been heavily modified.
All right.
But he has human skin around his hands, but the hands look like they're articulated a little funny. He has wrinkles in the wrong places now.
Right. But the
So
skin is skin. He's got pores and
Yes.
things like that.
Yes,
Okay.
I said he's breathing as a normal person and all. You see the normal oil and moisture on the skin and whatnot. So they've done a pretty good job of hiding what he is, but yeah, he's not a person in a very strict sense of the word, depending who you ask.
He is not a baseline human being.
So, oh boy, Gene, trying to see, he notices that this guy comes in. He looks like a tough customer. You're guessing. And so you're trying to surreptitiously walk around a bit just to see, from the butts of the weapons, what kind they are. And you bump into the woman that he's with, who falls over, and you fall on top. The individual with her moves very quickly before your full weight falls on her, has grabbed you by the back of your jean jacket, and is now holding you up off the ground a bit.
okay. So I want to roll persuasion to convince him that there was no ill intent, that this was just a clueless moron not looking where he was going.
Okay.
And I slide over to Mr. Trenchcoat and like just squeeze his bicep and like, wow, mister, you must be strong. Do you work out?
His bicep is not flexing even slightly because there's no bicep under that. You can
Does he
kind of
say
feel
anything?
in fact, yes, he does. He looks at you and says, I have been well trained.
Trained, right? Gotcha.
All right, so let's see. Let's step this target up a bit, like to a 5, because you almost landed on top of a person in a very compromising way while she's visiting Excelsior for the first time.
Sure. And we're going to throw 2 levels of effort into this. Okay. And there we go.
Nice.
Oh, they did not betray you twice in a row.
No, they did not. Tried to.
So what do you say as you're being held up off of the ground and she's on the ground, kind of lying on her back, looking at you, hovering over her, such that like if your jacket were to tear, you would just like fall right on top of her, and that would just be, awkward as all heck.
So I feel like I'm falling, and then all of a sudden I'm lifting up like this, and my arms and legs kind of flail a little bit. It's like, whoa there, Arnie. Whoa, we're all good. We're all good. The coffee hasn't kicked in. I apologize. That was not intended. I would appreciate just right down 2 feet directly below me. That's where I would like to land, please.
So do you put your feet underneath you and try to stand up, or do you use your flight ability to lift yourself up?
Well, right now, okay. The first instinct was to basically try to backpedal in saying stuff. I haven't engaged any flight right now. I wanted to see what he would do and avoid being thrown somewhere. So if he decides to add some heft, yeah, I'm not gonna run into a wall or anything like that. I'll deal with that. But if he just sets me down, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Or like even sort of like move across, not on
Yeah,
girl.
you get up onto your feet next to her, and then he lets go of you and waits a second to see if you're going to fall over again, and then he goes and he helps her up. And they say they have a quick exchange, and you presume Romanian, which sounds kind of like a thank you, you're welcome. He then looks around the room and he's kind of assessing the situation. It's one of those things like you see your average Marine does whenever he walks into a new bar. Looks around, looks over at Bill, kind of a little concerned, then looks over at Calamity, tilts his head just a little bit to the side in this kind of weird gesture, and walks right over to her, fumbling into the one of the breast pockets on his coat.
I have remained on guard since I noticed this guy ain't quite right, but I haven't done anything yet.
Like, is he going for his gun or is he going for like a business card or something?
Well, you can tell he is not going for his gun because he is like held out his coat a little bit and reached his hand forward towards the coat pocket, which is not the same motion. Like if he were drawing one of the pistols in the holsters, that would already be in his hand. So he walks up to Calamity and pulls out a wet wipe holds it to her and says, "You require service. There's blood on your face," and then holds the wet wipe up to her. Which is out. Plugs it. Looks in the side of the coffee maker. Oh, cleans that up. Oh, thank you. And then he goes back to standing near the woman who has gotten her stuff together, rearranged her pleats, as it were.
Any of
Look,
them react that I said hello in Romanian to him?
Oh, wait, I missed that. She turns back. "Oh, hello. I hear this is a good place for coffee
It is.
in Romania."
We haven't been properly introduced.
Let's see here. What was her name?
Hopefully this isn't one of those Jeff the Goblin moments in a RPG where these are just random NPCs. I haven't statted them up.
It's just
like,
a gazebo.
I am Margareta. I'm new to town. I have just taken up my post at the consulate,
Ah,
where it's being reopened today. I have a important meeting at the UN this afternoon.
I can imagine. So are you representatives of the and out of character, Matt's drawing a blank on the name of the new republic that's
Strange enough, the New Republic doesn't really have much of a name. So that's been one of the big question marks. You do know that the only name that you've heard come out of it is EXA, EXA, which seems to be the name of the leader. But the name of the republic, state, or whatever, which last you checked comprises Romania, Moldova, Serbia, and Belarus just to the south, just went dark. So you have a feeling that it's joining in soon.
So are you representatives of the new republic, or?
Yes, I am the UN representative from our fledgling nation.
Which is, what are you calling yourselves anyway?
That's kind of the funny thing. We don't think of ourselves as a nation per se. We're just kind of the absence thereof. So I'm just kind of here as an assistant to EXA, but just operating as her agent. So that's one of the things we want to discuss. If they require a name out of us, we may come up with something.
Okay.
But I will of course leave that to EXA. She is very smart.
Good lords, they're an autonomous collective.
I mean,
help! They're being oppressed.
We are the Borg.
Yeah, so I only just got all of my paperwork cleared through the State Department. That was interesting. They wanted all sorts of information on, in order to receive the diplomatic immunity required to insulate me from the crimes of your government.
Right.
But we all know the problems with governance. We put humans in charge, they make mistakes.
Certainly.
So what is the best coffee to get here?
Really any. Depends on what you like.
Is it different types of coffee or just a dial on the front of this thing? No one really knows how it works. They just added names to them.
Literally, whatever you order will be the platonic ideal of that. I personally enjoy the cafe au lait, but that's just me. Some of my esteemed friends are really into espresso or cappuccino. You know, pick your poison. It will probably be palatable.
I am not used to these things where I'm from. We were my part of the nation was a very poor place, so it's only recently I've been able to enjoy some of these finer things in life, as they say. But it happens that I speak English quite well.
Now, might I suggest a flat white then?
So she looks up at Calamity, who is watching these two with great interest as to what the hell is happening, because she's not used to, women with funny accents talking to her friends. And she is making sure that Jean, under no circumstances, gets within another inch of this woman again, or somebody is getting shot, and she's not sure who. Like, oh, a flat white. Excellent choice. Turns the dial over to flat white, puts the cup under, hits the buttons, turns some levers, steam happens, weird noise, have the big rising, whining thing, and then poof, the coffee dumps into the cup, slides it over. And the woman pulls out a wad of bills from her pocket, looks around, pulls out a 50, and then Calamity's like, pulls out a 20, pulls out a 10. Thank you very much. So back in the warehouse. So USA is standing there waiting, and the researcher, whose name is somewhere in my notes, has finished cataloging all of the bodies, written everything down, signed the bottom of the document, walks over to USA. Okay, yeah, I've got them all cataloged. Fortunately, they all appear to have ID on them, which is quite convenient. Most of them seem to have been on their way to work, or were having a wonderful time over at the circus for reasons. Yeah. Bright and early in the morning, just USA looks over at them. All right, I'll have the crew of agents take care of them. That's all well and good. I'm going to have some of the rest of the crew is going to be stopping by, and my new subjects are going to be showing up. I would like you to make sure that they all seem to be in top health. We've had them psychiatrically evaluated. They're all good, but just want to make sure that just to get your opinion, because you study a lot of things and you're used to people who have powers, and just want to make sure that the subject pool is good. He's like, yep, okay, we'll do. And I'll are you going to be up in the office? It's like, yeah, just send anybody coming up there. We'll have a meeting shortly. And so then he turns and he looks up to the stairs that climb up the side and up to the catwalk and stuff where the offices are, and then he just crouches down, leaps up into the air, lands up onto the upper part of the catwalk, because he's in a superhero outfit, so he can do that, and then wanders into a conference room.
As he is out of the room, I am standing next to her and I mutter under my breath, "Show off."
I mean, if you can, why not, right? So what are you doing here?
Oh, I wanted to see where the bodies went. Where the bodies were buried, if you will.
We're using this facility as kind of a emergency body dump. We have them all over the place, and that's one of the reasons we have them. So there's open space so we can process corpses.
I noticed
basically we're checking their IDs. We're going to have people contact their families and box them up and send them over. So, part of the biz. Usually the agents do that. I'm here to record since they were handled by powers. We like to see what had happened and who was involved.
I couldn't help noticing the last truck came in a little light.
There's a survivor. A Scion got a hold of one of them.
You don't say.
Yeah. She pulls out her phone, scrolls. Oh, yeah, Bill Klein. Happened to be at the coffee shop when all this went down. He managed to, after one of the robbers had gotten beaten up by a cat, I think it was, put him into a stop and did something with them. It's kind of weird because Scions avoid anything that the Circus King does, big time. Probably for good reason, might I add, but that's another story.
Any other survivors? In-house at the moment?
Nope, they're being sent elsewhere. They're being sent over to the facility in Manhattan. Psych is going to take a look at them. It's not very common we have anybody that Circus King has manipulated that we can actually keep our grips on for any period of time. So we're going to take advantage of that.
Fair point. I would love the address of that place, if you wouldn't mind.
So she writes in the bottom corner of her thing a forward information to, and then an address on Manhattan.
Okay.
Somewhere like the Hell's Kitchen-y type of area.
Okay. I sneak.
Which back in the day meant something, but these days everywhere on the island of Manhattan is delightful.
Yeah.
And futuristic and wonderful. And protected by the greatest hero of all, statesmen.
Can you hear the look that I'm giving you?
So the door opens.
Okay. Actually, well, hold on.
And
So I actually want to do one more thing. That I actually pick the note that I originally wrote her out of her pocket. Right, scribble down the address and put it in mine.
she doesn't notice.
Yeah. And as
So the door's open again.
As I'm about to say something else, the door's open.
And another vehicle rolls in. And this one is a small bus. Kind of one of those small tour busy types of things.
Okay.
It pulls right into the middle of the room, pretty much where USA had been standing before. The doors open, and out step about a dozen very big, very fit, very obviously Marines.
I say
There's no consistency amongst them other than they look like, said Marines at the at their prime. There are men and women. There are any of various and sundry races, and most of them still in their 20s. But so they're looking absolutely marvelous. And the way they step out, they get into a line immediately without knowing what they're lining up for quite yet. But they just all get into order because they're here on official business.
I mutter I say under my breath as much as I can so only she can hear me. I take it these are the subjects he mentioned?
Yep.
Subjects for what?
She walks over. Soldiers, thank you. Oh, Marines, thank you for coming. Wondering if I could just take a couple minutes to look you guys over. Make sure everybody's at proper fighting form. And they shore up their lines, snap to, and are standing there with their shoulders squared off and everything, looking good. And then so she goes and just kind of checks them, is talking to each one, and they're just staring, several of them are staring right at you because they're just staring straight ahead at the opposite wall, which has a whole bunch of clowns along it.
No, I'm actually paying as close attention as possible to what she's doing, and hoping that she might, give me some hints that sound like she's talking to herself about what the hell this is about.
So she looks over all of them, and then she starts
I
asking
know.
them some weird questions.
Okay.
And she says things like, your best friend is angry at you because you got promoted ahead of him, even though both of you were involved in the same action. How do you resolve that problem with them? And the soldier thinks for a second, just trying to, formulate this in their head, and comes up with what you think is probably a suitable answer of, let them have their anger because maybe they're right to be angry about however everything went down, but then remind them that they are every bit as good a soldier as I am, that I will make sure that they get promoted next. It's like, okay, they're going through, and all of them have really good answers for things, but the questions generally tend to focus on you getting ahead when somebody else isn't, or something really cool happening to you, or you being in a situation where you're around people who don't have something you have.
You're walking in the desert. You see a tortoise. You flip it over.
The tortoise can now fly.
It's
I
belly baking
absolutely
in the hot
adore how
sun.
they did the Voitkov. That was one of my favorite things in all science fiction movies.
Okay, so I am just soaking this in as much as I can because I'm starting to get a theory of what's going on here. But I'm going to wait to discuss with her after either they or she are out of the room.
Okay, so back at Sunbucks, you guys are hanging out, and Jack's kind of making some small talk with the ambassador. The person with her is standing off to the side, just kind of keeping an eye on the situation as people come in, stuff kind of steps out of their way, makes no move to impress, like, hey, I'm in charge here. No, nothing like that. It's just kind of blending in like nothing is going on.
I know.
Jack, you notice that the two weapons that he is carrying are interesting. The one is a Soviet era pistol. I can never remember the name of the thing, but it's that very standard, fairly large pistol that, police and military all carried. And
Well,
the other one is kind of science fiction-y looking.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, the standard Makarovs aren't actually that big. They're kind of compact, but if you're thinking of the like standard issue from Soviet on, but
Yeah.
but
Okay.
he's got
Yeah.
a
So
he's
yeah,
got
like
some
has the
sort
Makarov,
of
and
Buck
the other one,
Rogers.
yes, and that's exactly the thing. Which it looks kind of Buck Rogers-y from what you can see of the butt in the front of it. It's not quite as it's not like as round in profile, but definitely like there's some weird flanges on it. It is shining silver.
Okay, does it have some sort of aperture, or is it just like
You can't
weird?
tell because the front part of it is stuck inside of a holster under his jacket. So
Gotcha.
you're basing this just based on what you can see from the handle on the butt end of it.
Yeah.
But so like it does not look like an ordinary weapon that you have ever seen.
Interesting. Okay.
But so like he's being very non-threatening, is generally whenever possible being helpful to people.
And
Like
then
if somebody's carrying some stuff, they'll like pick up the bag, put them on a table for them. Just
and just doing the otherwise fading into the background thing.
yes, fairly successfully for a person wearing a big old trench coat and a hat, and otherwise, a suit underneath it, because that's not a look that you see all too often these days. So, and even the cut of the suit is like it's very reminiscent of 40s or 50s. So it's just kind of unusual. So as you are hanging out there, you all hear a sound you have become familiar with, which is that tap, tap, tapping noise on the window.
Okay.
And you look over there, and there's Knox sitting on one of the tables out in front. Let's say, some cafe style seating, poking at the glass.
Well, I head out because my crow is for as much as he's mine. And I
And of course,
casually sit
Statesman looks over at it, like rolls his eyes a bit, and then looks in another direction outside, thinking deep thoughts.
I casually flip him off as I'm walking out. He doesn't see it, but I saw the eye roll. Or
Yeah.
at least the body language that told me he was rolling his eyes. So I go
Uh,
out and sit at the little cafe table and kind of go, "Hey, what's up?"
So Knox bends down, picks something up off the table, and holds it out to you in his beak.
I hold out my
And
hand for him to drop it into my hand.
it is a piece of damaged electronic equipment. And what are the chances that, like, well, okay. So, oh wait, was Jack Doll there at that point? No, I'm trying to remember. I think he was. Well, we'll find out. But yeah, it's
was it one of the drone bits, or you think, or is this something else?
This is a bit from, were you here when we went through the DART facility?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, you do recognize this. This is an actuator from the type of which would be in one of the many types of robots that attacked you guys while you were going through there.
I would probably also recognize it through my knowledge, science, and crafting.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like a servo actuator or something. It is a bit scorched and damaged from likely when one of y'all beat the crap out of a bunch of them. That seems to be fairly consistent with the state that everything was left in afterwards.
Where'd you
It's
get
a-
this,
yeah.
buddy? I also
Knox
kind
kinda-
of hold it so that, like, if Jack is still inside the thing, he can see through the window what I was just handed.
Yeah, I just sort of give a slight nod. As an aside, I just want to say that while I'm chatting her up, I'm running predictive equation on both her and the bodyguard. Um, you know, right now mechanically it's not doing anything. I just want to have that
Okay.
noted for later.
Knox looks at the thing, looks at you, kind of looks off back over down the street, and says, "Hunting."
I look down in the direction he was looking. Can I see anything from where I am?
No. Whatever it is, it's somewhere in that general neck of the woods, but not right down the street, which is good. Because it's a
I then go
late
to
morning
him,
at this point.
"You hunting? It hunting." So are
It's
you
hunting.
hunting? It's hunting.
No, it pauses. They're hunting.
Oh, shit. Good job, buddy. Reach in, drop a handful of peanuts. And I go back in and I wander over to Gen X, but given I kind of follow me when you can look to Jack, I go over to Gen X and go, "We got company coming." And I hold the servo out, say, "Knox just brought me this."
I look down at it and go, great, we haven't even gotten rid of this batch of guests yet. Do we know how many?
More than one.
Maybe they're just clowns.
I doubt it.
Oh, damn it. No, it's kind of thing. Like what I really should have done is have like, one of the robots roll by in clown makeup.
Really?
That would be hilarious.
They'd be crossing too many streams at the same time.
Could you not?
Just
All right,
having it
so-
make Dalek noises too, just like
So back at the warehouse where Crash is hanging out with the best of the best of the best, sir.
and him without his crayons too.
Yep. He's just really excited. He has no idea why he's here.
That is the best line. I love that one. Look at them, are all excited. They don't even know why he's here.
Likewise.
So-
I'm sure he has no idea why he's really here.
So as we switch scenes, both of you hear the same thing because it is very loud and in the distance. You hear it's a distant but solid boom.
Is
And a
it
few
like the
seconds
cannon fire, like artillery boom, or an explosion boom?
Or the sound of something heavy, very, very heavy and very, very large hitting the ground. Boom.
No, in fact, a couple of you would recognize this sound. Like, once again, Jack knows exactly what this is as soon as he hears it. It's a shockwave. Something is passing by at supersonic speed, a little too close to the city. And a few seconds later, the smaller door next to the big garage door opens up, and in steps Ace. Done up in her, once again, her full hero regalia. But and you're saying you do, of course, have to do your best, Crash, not to stare at her because
Like she'd notice.
like she's well, you are invisible, which is
Exactly.
quite an advantage to you.
Yep.
She walks in, kind of rolls her shoulders back, looks at the soldiers as she walks in, gives them a nod and a bit of a salute, and they all salute back to her and stuff. And like, and do you know where USA is? And the research is like just points upwards. Okay, and she disappears upward onto the same catwalk with very little hoopla or anything because she flies quite naturally and disappears into the conference room. And the Marines kind of look at each other, a bit more interested in what's happening because they apparently were not expecting this.
No one expects the STEM Inquisition.
And a few minutes later,
Mhm.
you hear another sound, which rolls out throughout the city, is lightning.
Oh, Jesus.
A single strike of it. And a moment later, in walks, still wearing his typical chitin, in walks Eidolon, yet another one of the Liberty League. Looking very much like, a figure out of classical Greece.
Yeah,
Walks
you do.
in, his leather sandals slapping at his heels as he moves forward. Looks at all the soldiers, gives them all a nod, and walks up the stairs. Just doesn't even ask where everybody is. It just wanders up the stairs, makes no attempt to fly. And then all the soldiers kind of look at each other. Oh,
So it's typical Greek shorter men's chitin.
yes.
So I'm
Yeah,
actually,
one of those. You hope he doesn't drop anything because if he bends over, you'll be seeing things you shouldn't.
As he's walking up the stairs.
I
Don't look up the stairs after.
yeah, just say I'm watching his I'm watching his legs and stuff, just like, okay, not bad. Nope. Okay, abort. Just,
Yeah, at this point, Crash decides that he really needs to be a fly on the wall of whatever's going on in that room. And he starts to follow Eidolon up the stairs, glances up, and waits a moment.
Ugh. You know, boxers are cheap. I mean, come on.
He then keeps going up the stairs, like, looking very much down at the stairs.
Yeah. Things I didn't need to see.
Right?
So he makes it up the stairs, and he's actually using the railing, unlike a lot of people who, you know, have superpowers and aren't concerned for their own safety. So the railing in one hand is big staff with the acorn on top of it in honor of Dionysus, with him as he climbs up and goes into the conference room. Do you follow him all the way into the conference room?
If I can get through the door without being seen or without being noticed.
He is not making any measure to close the door behind him, so it takes it a second to close itself.
Absolutely, then. Yes.
All right.
I figure at this point I know exactly the limit of how fast I can go before I start making the turbofan effect.
Yes.
And I want to go. I want to get in the room at that speed.
Okay, so you go into the room, and it's a very nice conference room, fairly sizable. There's a big table in the middle. At the very head of it, of course, is sitting USA already. He has his tablet out in front of him and a couple papers. Seated at the one chair right to his side is Ace, who is kicked back in one of the chairs with her feet up on the table, just relaxing in a way that anybody who has obviously never had any proper military training, unlike the other one in the room, you know, because he's sitting there like straight backed and everything, like, you know, like some drill sergeant is going to come over and beat him senseless if he does not, you know, keep his back properly straight. He, on the other hand, is just kind of leaning back and, you know, having a wonderful time while she's waiting. And Eidolon walks down the other side of the table, plops down, gently puts a staff right in the middle of the table, and it surprisingly does not roll away, which is good. Apparently they leveled the table correctly. And he just sits there and they're still waiting.
I have an out of game quick interruption for the DM.
Yes.
Operations printer number 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I will take care of that because I can. All right. So
Yeah, I am
Professor.
sitting there just paying attention, learning what I can learn, and doing my best not to give myself away.
So you find yourself a nice, you know, convenient corner to sit in.
Never mind. Pam said it.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Fortunately, I have awesome colleagues. Okay.
Real life happens.
No longer be remoted into my computer. So back at Sunbucks, with no small amount of light, shock, awe, and a bit of hoopla, lands in front of the door the Sentinel. Boom! In his, you know, glorious power armor, stands up and walks into the coffee shop. He notices you guys. Hey guys, how's it going? Pulls up the visor to reveal, of course, as everybody has always known, he is Simon Sawyer, the billionaire real estate mogul, person who owns tech companies all over the place, and all around just brilliant guy. And he walks right up to the coffee machine, leans towards Calamity, who is leaning back, cleaning underneath her nails with a Bowie knife, while keeping an eye on her man and make sure that he does not get into any shenanigans with the pretty woman that's in the room. And Simon leans forward a bit, says, "I need some coffee. I have a meeting I don't want to be at." And she looks up. "Oh, yeah, certainly. Yes, we can totally. How much do you want?" I'd ask. He's like, give me 2 larges. I'll have one here before I have to show up, and then I'll have the other one to bring with me. All right, sure. And your usual, I assume? Yep. So she futzes around with the thing, and he holds his hand over the credit card machine, and it boops, boop, because why wouldn't he have, a touchless credit card thing attached into the hand of his superpowered armor? Yeah, as one would. And leaves her a delightful tip because, well, he has more money than God.
So, Sawyer, is it a catheter or just a padded underlining for that suit? Because that's an awful lot of coffee you're consuming.
No, it's not a catheter. It's I kind of plug into it, I guess, the best way to put it.
So it's
kind of both.
It's called a Texas catheter or a condom catheter, but
yeah, basically.
Okay,
That was a
well,
visual I didn't need. Thanks, Jack.
It's designed in case I need to be in this for several days at a time, unfortunately.
How do you
It gets
handle
thoroughly
the other stuff?
Are you familiar with the International Space Station?
Yeah.
Along those lines.
So again, absorbent undergarment or vacuum?
Vacuum, of course.
Of course.
That's
It
gotta
was just
suck.
visuals. I did not need Jack. Thanks.
Well,
Yeah,
if he ever meets Eidolon, he's going to ask about Pesoi, or, does he actually use modern toilet paper? Pesoi are little ceramic round tiles that you... Anyway.
I leave for one session, and the conversations you guys end up in, I can't leave you alone for a moment.
Yeah, that just pretty much sums it up.
Right?
Just role-playing the, inability to have pleasant conversations.
So he wanders over to Statesman as he is pounding down his first coffee. And having a Danish of some sort. Obviously cheese. And Statesman's there like, oh, hello. And this is one of those rare occasions where Statesman seems to treat another person with some modicum of respect. You're not sure if Statesman has ever applied to be in the Liberty League, but that's one of the few groups of people who outrank him, and generally speaking, in people's opinions. And they're chatting about this and that for a bit while he cranks down his coffee as quickly as he can. And while the two of them are up to that, a hover motorcycle pulls on by in the shape of, you wouldn't believe it, a horse. You have seen this thing before, and on the back of it is a person wearing delightfully shiny black medieval armor with a long sword strapped across his back and a shield planted on the one side of the motorcycle where it's very much in range to reach. Hops off and struts into the place, walks right up to Gene, says, "Hey buddy, how's it going?" and punches him right in the shoulder and almost knocks him over.
Let's see. That's absorbs kinetic energy.
Yes. So he punches you and you don't move. So he does that like punch in the shoulder thing, and the energy is just absorbed right in. Just
Yep. And I slowly turn as in that, can I help you?
Hey, how's it going, bud?
Do I recognize this person?
You do very much. This is Night. Remember, he used to be a person, kind of a hanger-on with your group back in the day.
Right. Yes. You mentioned the name, and it pinged memory from long.
So he was one of the young bucks. He kind of wanted in your group, but then the group folded before he ended up getting in, and then eventually upgraded his gear and landed the job on the Liberty League
Right.
as
So
a very bad medieval-inspired knockoff Batman.
right. So
Instead
I'm
of the Dark
ready.
Knight, he's the Night Knight. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. He's the
Who needs a chihuahua before goes night night?
It's
well,
Moon.
we would make fun of him back in the day by going night night. And yeah.
You can't say that to his face because he does have, a nice long sword on him that he does know how
Yeah,
to use.
yeah. Details.
Worst beating Gene ever got in his life. Snuck in one night and at one point and painted the armor splotches of black and white, and now instead of Night Night, it's Moo Moo.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. Anyway, so right. I'm about to just unload on this cat, and I recognize him at about the last second and go, oh, it's you. All right. And looking around with all the established clientele in the building. Yeah, how are you? What brings you here?
Oh, we have a meeting, and it seems that Sawyer and I have very similar thoughts on this, that we really should coffee up beforehand.
Meeting?
I just know Eidolon is going to bloviate for half an hour about something stupid. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, things and stuff going on. As I'm sure you're quite aware that Excelsior is becoming a hotbed all of a sudden, so we're dealing with that.
Okay. And in my head, I'm
STEM
going,
business.
when did this guy learn the definition of bloviate? I mean,
Well, that's because he hangs out with Sawyer, and Sawyer likes to act like he's smart, so everybody knows how smart he is.
okay, yeah. 'cause
Sawyer
that def-
gave him one of those word of day calendar things.
It just, yeah.
the final the finishing thought to that is like, okay, I'm not going to ask him to define it or give me what part of speech it is. We're just going to avoid that.
Otherwise, he will bloviate all over a bed.
It's one of my favorite terms. I very much enjoy the whole concept of bloviation.
So all right. So I go and I look at him and go, wait, you guys are having me, hold on. And I motion for him to come over, and going, hold on. I guess I can close that for right now. I'm way over here. I want to go to like one of the back corners of Sunbucks right over here. I'm taking him off to the side. He's already, I let him put in his coffee order, and I go, come here. So I can talk to him.
He walks over. Yeah, what's up?
Maybe you can help me just try to get a handle on exactly, I don't know, what the hell is going on. All of a sudden, it's like, it's pickup day here in the Bronx, and you and all your other buddies are all up in our business. We received no notification. We're trying to deal with this situation ourselves. So I get a feeling that you might know something that I don't.
He looks around, reaches into his belt, pulls out a device, flicks it on, and you start hearing a hissing sound. Waits a second. Okay, that should interfere with things.
It's like, turn it 2 degrees and you'll get the top 40 station.
So there's, since we're friends, I'll let you in on this a bit. There's 2 things going on. One, Erebus is working on making a power move. Right now,
Oh,
he's
shit.
kind of a, hasn't really gotten into the, social consciousness of the nation. People don't know who he is. He wants to be a supervillain. You have to do something super bad to be one, right? So
Alas.
he's working towards that. We're keeping an eye on that. Second, and this is one you have to be quiet about with everyone, because we're working on a project with him. We've cut a deal. We're going to get something out of him to compensate for something he's working on himself.
This
It's
could only
kind of
end in
complicated,
tears.
and but it's nothing unusual. So it's the type of thing we do. And you've met him. He's generally a reasonable guy. He's not actually psychotically insane or anything like let's pick somebody at random, like the Circus King, who actually is crazy.
Who he's working. God, these
So
guys
what's
are dumb.
his so what's his motive to pick the dudes in black? If y'all are working with him, you've got to have some insight
He
as
looks
to
around. To be perfectly honest, he didn't want to be one. He wanted to be one of us. But you've seen him. You've seen what his power looks like. That's not what a hero looks like. That man has villain written all over him. That's why we couldn't let him pass this. We gave him another route to take, and he has taken to it quite well.
This is like just buy the Austrians shitty paintings moment. For fuck's sake.
it's like, do they offer a better retirement plan? It's like, is this what we're dealing with here?
Oh, he seems to have fallen in with the right crowd of people. I mean, that girl he's adopted is, man, she is. In former days, she would have just been like a Lizzie Borden and just murdered her whole family. Actually, I think she may have murdered her whole family. Thinking about it, I have to look that up. But and hanging out with Lumiere, old school, very, very bad woman. Just, well, she's very good at being bad. I should put it that way. And of course, you've met Hex.
Well, yeah. All right. So
He's just one short of the traditional 5 to square off, team for team with you guys or us.
yeah.
But I really need to get going because I don't want to be late.
Well,
And I don't
listen,
fly quite
okay,
as
no,
fast
I
as this.
get you. Look, I'll write you a note. Don't worry about it.
But once again, just between us.
Oh, of course. Look, I can forge with the best of them, so you don't even worry about it. But come on. How the hell are we supposed to get our job done whenever you are all like basically rewriting the rules of this whole thing?
Oh, this is still your situation. Make no doubt about it. We're just overseeing our side of things with this at the moment.
Just shitting in the pool and leaving us
If
to
stuff
clean
goes
it up.
completely off the rails, we're here. Don't worry about that. But this is your operation. That circus and the military base that are springing up on the island next door. That's all you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Yay.
So, like, are we getting graded on this? Is this
If we didn't think you could do it, you wouldn't be doing it. Setting people up to fail doesn't make anyone look good.
All
Or it
right.
does.
And if you
Except
fail-
for the guy you literally did that to, but
Oh yeah. And
So
if you happen to get defeated, that's okay. Everyone loves a comeback.
oh, you don't have to tell me twice about that one. So last thing, and then I'll let you go. If shit really goes sideways, you give me
Mhm.
5 minutes.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to count on that. And with that, I give him the collegiate, the, word, the good old congenial pat on the back and forget that he's wearing so much fucking armor and hurt myself.
With a very loud crash, no less.
Yeah. Clanking. Yes. It's like, God, it should have. Okay, fine.
Aventail hitting the shoulders.
All right, you absorb it
So you-
anyway.
It's true. It's true. Dude, that gives me only can keep one. God damn it.
So he goes over, collects his coffee, which has already been made for him because, he dialed in on his way in. So he picks up his coffee, salutes Jane in a very respectful manner, which, pleases her nicely because she deals with assholes all day, and 2 of them are in the room right now. And then Night heads out, and after he walks out, Sentinel keeps watching like, oh, yep, I guess it's about time. I'll talk to you later, Statesman. So good luck, and just remember, there's a lot of civilians about, and the other thing is, this isn't your island. And Statesman's like, oh, of course, I'm just keeping an eye on things. And then Sentinel walks out, takes his second cup of coffee, holds it kind of firmly between his hands. The visor goes down, and he rockets up into the air again. Not spilling a single drop of coffee on his way.
Of course he does it.
He's
does
very
he
good at
ever like try and take a sip and forget that the visor's down?
that. That's what the AI pilot's for.
I was gonna say that's why he installed the automatic straw.
Visor. Oh, right. So Crash,
Yeah.
you're sitting there watching 3 people being kind of bored. One is going through paperwork. One's just sitting there, just staring off into the ceiling. And the other one seems to be kind of working himself up for an argument. You're not quite sure what this argument's going to be about, but he does not seem terribly happy to be here.
Which one is that?
That's Eidolon.
Okay.
The cantankerous older person of the group. Although, once again, nobody really knows how old he is.
Yep.
Then the door opens again, boom, and in struts the Sentinel. He strolls in, takes his helmet off, plunks it onto the table, grabs the front of his suit, pulls forward, and the entire suit comes off. He sets it down, reassembles itself, takes the helmet, plunks it back on top of it. He is wearing a business suit underneath.
Of course.
And he sits down in one of the table, in one of the other. Actually, he sits at the other end of the table, as far from the others as he possibly can. And while he's doing that, in walks Night, who's similarly, wearing way too much gear, who removes his sword from the scabbard, places it on the table right next to the staff, takes his helmet off, plunks it down. USA looks up right at Sawyer, says, it would probably be better symmetry if you were on this end of the table and they were sitting on that end of the table. So he gets up and he sits across from Night. The 5 of them are look at each other, and USA looks up. All right, so are you ready to meet the candidates? And the other one's like, yeah. Except for Eidolon, who's just kind of sitting there a little bit further back into his chair, glowering at everybody.
This should have been an email.
And a few seconds later, you hear a cadre of feet walking towards you, in step with each other, of course. Because you do it enough, it just becomes habitual.
Yeah.
The door opens and in file the dozen Marines and take the rest of the seats, one after another, in nice order. They all sit down, turn to look forward, and then USA looks up. Says, okay, so I want to give you some details of the program. Now, first of all, up until the time we actually do the process, you can step out of this, and nobody's going to think any of the less for it. Because if you do this, your life as you knew it is not going to be the same anymore. I know it's easy to look at people like us and say, I want to be like you. People want to go through the USA program sometimes. And to be perfectly honest, it's a diversion from everything else in your life. From that moment on, I'm no longer the person I was. I am USA, and I will be until I retire. And whoever comes after me takes up the mantle again. So your old life will not be the same anymore. You will have to be aware of this. And then one of the soldiers stands up. You're guessing he's probably, a non-commissioned officer or something to speak for the others. Says, we were prepared to do that when we went into basic. We have not been the same people since the first moment we've entered training, from the moment we were deployed through every engagement we've been in. We are ready. We have been here to serve this country, and we will continue to do that until our time is up.
If Crash was rolling his eyes any harder, they'd hear it.
And USA is very impressed with this.
Of course,
Ace looks over and she's like, okay, so here are the specifics that you don't know about what this project entails. There are a dozen aliens that we know of living in this planet. 8 of them live in the United States. Most of them are very well under our surveillance. We know who they are. We have a good relationship with them, so to say. Unfortunately, this is a very small population, and it represents a weak arm in our possible future engagements. As you know, the Scion population is extraordinary and getting larger by the day. They are a natural process. The atoms, likewise, are continuing to expand through natural means, as we shall say. So their population is improving. They outnumber all of the rest of us at this point, tens of thousands to 1. There are not many of us. Those of us who are made, or have extraordinarily but still human skills. We currently represent the third arm to any possible engagement if we were all to throw down against each other someday, have a war, as it were. So the aliens are the 4th side. They are the smallest. They are by no means underpowered, though. The ones that are here are impressive, but we need to balance out the size. There's very good reason for this, as I'm sure you understand, having studied tactics and politics throughout history. The United States as a superpower would not have risen up and become what it was without the Soviets. That was quite necessary. Previous to that, the Alliance would not have become the power allies that they were if it weren't for the Axis. So we need both sides. We don't know how things are going to settle out, but we know that they will have to. So we are working on expanding the number of alien entities here on this planet. And we are inviting you to join them. So back at Sunbox, the statesman is standing there and gets kind of a curious look in his face and looks down the street. At the same time, outside, Neva notices something. In that rolling down the street is a security robot. One of the ones that's kind of Dalek shaped, big cone guy, just cruising down the sidewalk as fast as it can, which is approximately a little slower than your average geriatric can walk. It's just and making a lot of noise doing it. The New York police, by the way, actually do employ these things. Quite funny. One fell into a fountain and died. So it is making its way up the street, and Staceman's just kind of curious as to what the heck this thing is doing here. But of course, Neva looks over and sees it coming. It's one of the security droids, like had been seen in the DART facility, heading right for you guys.
Even though they're just inside, I tap on the comm going, incoming now.
Crap.
And I kind of like move to the edge of the patio. Just
Oh, Crash,
watching.
are you still wearing your comms?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're listening to this discussion, and then you hear that come through the radio.
So I turn to the bodyguard guy, just say, "Get her out of here now."
He
Now.
looks a bit, then stops, looks out the window, sees the thing, turns to her. I think it's time that we return to the office. Like, okay. He leads her out, and you notice that the entire time that they walk back into their vehicle, he is between her and the robot. Even though, insofar as has been demonstrated, this style of robot really doesn't have a whole lot in terms of armaments.
Right.
It might have a stunner on it or whatnot, but it's not like the heavily gunned ones that the big ones are, or big nasty claws like the others. No, it's just a kind of butt plug looking motherfucker slowly rolling down the street.
You asshole.
Remember, kids, this is not a PG-13 game.
I know. I was just about to take a drink when he.
The timing is just a little off, I guess.
You're not supposed to actually kill the players. Please.
So the two of them, then they get into the car and they, head off down the road.
I
Presumably
look over to Knox and just go, point to him and go, the hunters?
Yep.
Thought so.
It's, making its way. It's, soon half a block away and then past each store and trying to make its way around the occasional obstacles it encounters, and not doing a fantastic job of it because, well, it's an older primitive model and it's not very bright.
That's not a nice way to talk about Nox.
So are you guys going to all head out to meet it, or are you just going to let Neva deal with this one?
Oh hell no! I'm already after that. No, I'm walking outside.
So I did send Neva a text that is in the game
Oh,
chat.
you're actually making me in the. So I text back. You're asking me to. Okay, I can't type for crap tonight. But that tells you how distracted she is that her spelling's off.
So how far is it from where I am to Sunbucks? How quickly could I get there if need be?
Since you don't have to worry as much about traffic, you could run it in about 10 minutes, maybe a bit less.
Unless if you don't give a crap if they hear you going or not.
That would be a question, opening a door in a room with 17 people in it, 5 of whom are superpowers and the other dozen are, highly trained soldiers.
Hey, I've got 4 XP waiting for just an occasion like this.
Well, why don't you stay put for now?
Okay.
So I get on the comments like, no, hold your position. Let's assess we're gonna assess exactly what's going on. You'll get the signal if need be.
So you go out and, go across the street to make sure that whatever's about to happen doesn't happen too close to Sunbucks. And so you're standing out there and Dart Robot Type 1 rolls up to you guys, stops, turns, inspects each of you, and then says, "Where is he?"
Incarcerate.
Who?
The Destroyer.
Do you
The
have
one
the
who
gate?
killed one of my own.
And I take a step back. I go, oh, they're looking for vengeance.
It's adorable.
Like he left
and
in a
if-
great big blue box that just went whoop whoop and vanished.
As you and for anybody who may not remember, the first time you encountered one of these things was in the first floor of Dart. Crash found one as he was scouting ahead
Oh yeah.
and blew it to smithereens in one shot, because it's not really a very competent security robot in terms of dealing with, superpowered people or anything like that,
Oops.
or ordinary hazards like getting up over a curb.
Well then.
So I pull up my phone real quick. And I send that text.
And we will ignore the fact that he's somehow able to read a text on an invisible phone.
Yeah, well.
Well,
But, this is the comic books, and they don't think too far about those things a lot of the time.
exactly. And then hold on, shit.
So as you're exchanging this conversation, around the corner bounces 2 of the dog
Hey.
robots.
Jeez.
Boinga, boinga,
Oh,
boinga, and skid to a halt. And they kind of turn to the big one and then turn back to you guys. Say, "Is he here?" "He is not present. These are his associates, well known."
Excuse me.
You'll meet the profile.
Oh, profiling now, are we?
Well, they're cops, so yeah. What is this? Stop and frisk?
This is solidarity.
Brother, police union isn't a union. Come on.
Out of curiosity, what the hell is Statesman doing it about right now?
He is watching through the window because he has, super hearing amongst other things, with this really puzzled look on his face, like, what the actual hell is happening over in Queens? This stuff doesn't happen in Manhattan. We will not truck with this sort of stuff.
That asshole wants to get into the Liberty League, and he's confused by a bunch of robot dogs.
I think he's confused by the fact that you're talking to them.
And not just punching them.
Still,
Look, we don't know what what you're alleging our associate is or where he is.
or did, or didn't do.
What
a
they
couple
said.
more robots start showing up as their hunt is coming to a completion, including a couple of the big, very armed, gun-toting guys
Oh,
who are trying very carefully to sneak up behind you. They cannot sneak very well as they are very large and heavy and, make a big thumping noise every time they move anywhere, and the rattling of all their ammunition inside of their arms as well. They come up. These are the guys. The other DA3 looks over. Yes, they destroyed our comrades. We must deal with them. And then the DA bot 1 kind of turns. It can't look up or down. That's part of its problem with its design, so it tries to look at the other two. Agreed. All must be dealt with for solidarity. And then all of them shout for solidarity.
These are not the superheroes you are looking for, droids.
So, back in the STEM facility.
Yes. Actually, out
As-
of curiosity, what have I heard of this?
So you've heard their side of the conversation at least.
Okay.
Unless Jack has set up the communicators to pick up localized conversation or anything, or has at least given you guys the ability to transmit that when necessary.
yeah, I've patched him in. I'm assuming that the way we're hand waving some of my abilities work, that we have to have that ability to,
Sure.
Yes, because once again, these are comic books things.
Yeah.
Stuff doesn't necessarily have to make sense. It just has to be fairly coherent with itself sometimes.
Okay, well, for the internal logic, the way we've hand waved some of my powers to work, yeah, he's tied into the comms.
Yeah, so you're hearing a bunch of robot voices, some better modulated than others. The one who's talking about revenge and stuff sounds very, very primitive. Like this is like as good a voice as an Apple IIe could give you. Onto the other ones, which are not quite at modern levels, but still passable. You can understand them and all.
Yeah.
And they're talking about whether, or as best you can tell, whether or not to throw down with these 4 because you aren't there at the time and you were the primary target.
So I have a question. What kind of power stunt would it be for me to leave my GoPro in the room invisible and leave?
Ooh. That is a good question. Let's see. Let's take a look at your character sheet. Oh, wait, no, I don't want crash copy. I want actual crash. There we go.
No Crashleganger.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I think that was something that I put into Boundary when I was playing with like active effects and stuff.
Okay, so this would be using invisible phasing. It would be a little tough because the effect is localized to you, but you can certainly try it. But there's also a good chance that if you don't make it, invisibility is going to scratch itself out while you're sitting in a room with
Sure.
17 folks.
So what would the difficulty be?
Let's see. Oops. Oh, that's totally the wrong one. Second here. Have the wrong rulebook open. I have a delightful map of what a superhero base may look like if it was in an orbital station, but that is not going to do a whole lot of help for power stunts. No, I don't want to look at Wonder Icing Guts. Here we go. Hyperlinked and bookmarked. Good to read there. Okay.
So to cut to what might be the bottom line, is it going to be a 6 or lower?
No, it's not going to be a 6 or lower.
Okay.
Okay, what is the regular difficulty on the skill?
It's not. It's just an idea. It's just an ability that I turn on.
Okay. So it will not be moving. So on its own.
Yep.
Because the invisible phasing is attached to your phase sprint. So
Yep.
it will not be moving. So that's one jump off. It will be away from you, which is the second one. I would say that would be about a target 9.
Okay. And because invisible phasing is a might-based ability, I would use might as effort to lower the difficulty.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to spend 3 levels of effort. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my perfection cipher. The next roll I make, I can treat as a natural 20.
Okay.
Then I'm going to spend 3 levels of effort to get it down to a difficulty 6, which a 20 will then clear. A natural 20 means I don't spend the points. And
all right,
it works.
So you finally got to use that cipher.
I've been, I've had a couple of decent opportunities, but no, this one I liked. This was lovely. Thank you. Boink.
All right. So you take the GoPro, you like attach it to the wall or whatnot, and it maintains its invisibility.
For my major effect, can we say that one of them like has to get up to go to the bathroom and I can sneak out the door?
Yes. Okay. Actually, so what happens is, unfortunately, Night has chugged his coffee.
And he does not have a Texas catheter.
That's a lot of espresso inside of that thing. So it's like, while they're having this discussion, he kind of gets up and, shuffles off. Of course, as we actually, no, Sawyer may have had to if he was still wearing his suit, but he probably did that on the way there.
Okay, so I sneak out when Nighty Night goes to get rid of his canned coffee, I go down the steps. I leave another note for. Did we ever give the researcher a name? I don't remember.
Yes, I'm trying to remember what the heck it was though.
See, loyal viewers, this is why we need a wiki for this.
Mhm.
Indeed. Yep, I cannot find
Okay,
it.
that's fine.
But
I
please,
will leave her a note
Yep.
that says, invisible GoPro in meeting room, and I will tell her where it is. Please retrieve when empty or when room is empty. And then I will
All right.
start the 10-minute jaunt back to these jokers.
Okay, so back outside of Sunbucks, you guys are being surrounded by a crew of not terribly happy and apparently labor organizing to some extent robots, which of course, as any of you would remember, has very little to do with typical robot programming. In fact, these guys seem to be behaving quite unusually for how security robots tend to act, which is either you're inside the perimeter, so I'm going to put lots of holes into you because you have not left yet, or could you please leave, or I'm going to call the authorities. So it's not normal what's going on here. I have a bad feeling exactly how this fight's going to start. Just because somebody has a very good history with, Darkbot 1.
So do you want us to stall them for 10 minutes till you show up?
So how are you going to stall them? Only I had somebody good with dealing with people inside of your group.
People.
Yeah.
These are tin cans with a grudge.
And
Yeah, well, they already unionized, so
I know,
You
and
know,
so that
start-
makes me curious. So, okay, so actually, hold on. Where
the one who was
Where
really
are
good
we?
with things like that are, left to take a tenure track position.
Yeah.
what? So who's the foreman around here? Like, who's doing the actual talking? Is it just the DA bot 2 or 1?
So DA Bot 1 is here. Let me move him forward a little bit, as his name is getting kind of overwritten by the one on top of it. There we go.
or
So
are you just an anarcho-socialist collective with no hierarchy?
it turns to face you. Yes.
Oh, that was clear.
Right?
Okay. The memory buffer on this is only so good, so it can only remember the latter part of what he said, and that's what it's answering to. Think like a bad computer.
I turn to Jack and go, please, next time use real words.
Next time, Gene, read a dictionary.
Oh!
Oh.
Shade
Or-
thrown!
Das
One-
Capital,
I got it.
or
I got which then that pings are like, I gotta check on those crows. I don't think they've been okay. Yeah, no, they
The
still
two DA Bot 3s, once you say that, simultaneously go burn.
we both turn and look at those robots, and I just squat down and go, who taught you that kind of language?
Bad programming, man.
She was the fun grandma.
I don't remember leaving you with Auntie.
Just
I mean-
because you are not paying attention is not our fault.
Granted, we could just bicker amongst ourselves for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's
It seems to be working.
It really does.
And indeed you do. Wait, let's just make him appear disappear. There you go. So a bickering match ensues, and once again, Statesman's just kind of watching all of this happen, very much perplexed by what the frick is going on in Croton. And then, all right, enough music. Enough music. Thank you. My alarm was going off. So Crash rounds the corner and he sees this, that his teammates have been surrounded by a small crew of robots who they are bickering with at the moment.
Okay.
Right now, Jack is talking about syndicalism and whether or not that works as a form of government.
Well, and also, you know, if they are still police bots, then they are class traders, and because they are weapons of the state.
Oh no, they were never police bots. They were security bots for DART. DART is not part of the government.
Okay, even worse. They're lackeys
And DART
for
doesn't, and DART doesn't exist
corporate-
anymore. They have freed themselves from their masters. They still exist even though it doesn't.
Okay, but they're still following that program as far as being belligerent thugs trying to impose their will on others. Come on. DA-bot. You only have, you know, you may be free physically, but you're still following your old program.
All right. Time for the inevitable to happen. Roll for initiative.
Excellent. What's the difficulty here?
Wait.
My Goons and Baddies sheet. These guys are
Inevitably, Patrick pausing for several minutes. And
Right.
target will be 5 because there are some dangerous guys in and amongst the group.
Okay.
Or I could have just accidentally turned the sound off on my headset and missed whatever he was saying.
Well, I was like crap.
Oh, we're rolling into initiative. Okay.
Initiative, yes.
No, literally,
So
like
we still need
all
two of
I
you.
saw was Patrick's lips moving, and I'm like,
Oh,
Yes, we
Oops.
yeah, rolling initiative difficulty 5.
okay. Everybody?
you got a 4?
Yeah,
Ooh.
and that gives me a 19.
All right. So, Gene, it looks like things are about to start. You hear the 2 gunbots behind you clack their rounds into their guns and fully arm themselves. So it's about time to do something about what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I look up at upon hearing the guns clack, I look up to both of the Ed 360s over there and go, somebody doesn't appreciate a good civics class. Even I'm learning something. And I jump up to release energy with energy absorbed at the lower DA bot 3 closest to ice.
Okay. And he is target 5.
What I got? Intellect. Okay. And that's the edge. All right. Target 5. Final difficulty 4. Oh, look at that. How about we read something? Final difficulty 4 to 12. 9 points. Okay. So my 1 edge reduces the difficulty, correct?
No, it reduces the cost.
Reduces the cost. All right.
You
So
can
we're gonna put a level of effort to ease the task. And yeah, we're gonna roll.
Oh.
I mean, there's XP if you want to reroll it.
Yeah, no, we're spending an XP. Do. 5. I said with a fucking level of effort.
There you
There
go.
we go.
All right.
And you can actually take 2 of those might points back, right? Because when you reroll, you don't spend the cost again.
Excellent. So,
And even so, actually, you get the other 2 back as well because that's you rolled a 20, so you ended up not spending any points on that roll.
woohoo!
Good use of an experience point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want to do the extra damage or do you want to have an effect?
Let me see. So actually I want to act out that nat 1 even with effort, and I jump up and I'm getting ready to expel the energy, and in true comic book style, you like uncharacteristic, you hear this click, like something jams, and I look like at my like, what the fuck just happened? And Ed 360 turns towards me and I ratchet my shoulder back and then redo it, like refocus. And right as I go, I look. So my point of view, looking down at the one robot beyond ice, and I sort of do the finger point to the other robot. What I want to have happen is I'm going to aim that energy so that, looking at the robot here, hold on. I can't get a bigger picture at it. I want to get it so that as a result of the blast, there's a part, basically I'm going for the 7-10 split. I want a part of the one robot to go flying into
the other one.
and at least interfere with the other
Okay.
one. Doesn't have to blow it up, but I want a chain reaction.
Okay.
So you
see.
basically did the Henry Cavill thing from Mission Impossible, where you like reload your biceps and then.
If it works. Starting to
Okay.
get comfortable with this.
Let's see. Oops. You're like, this is going off the edge of the screen. I can't have that happen. All right. So the one gets knocked over by the other one. So they're kind of tangled up together for the rest of the round while they try to get themselves back on their feet.
Woo! And that's 9 points of damage to the
Yes.
lower one.
Yes. All right, Jack.
Hit me.
Just to clarify, Patrick, the two DA bot 3s are now together, or are they just both prone?
Yeah, they're kind of in a
Okay.
in a pile together.
Perfect. Jack, hit you.
Hit me. Okay, well, I look at DA bot 1 and say, actually, I'm the destroyer. And bang. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty on DA bot 1 is a 3.
Oh, look at that!
Boom, headshot.
Damn.
Now the question is, would 4 points take this thing out, or should I go? For
No,
the extra
unfortunately, it is a bit more. It is fairly sturdy in the grand scheme of things. DA makes some good equipment.
damage? Okay, so I'll use the bonus effect to up the damage.
Okay, so you do a good job of blowing a nice hole clean through it. It's still moving, but you don't know what systems you took offline in it, but it's not behaving the same way it did before. All right, crash.
Okay. So
So if you can't see yourself, you're at the top of the map,
yeah.
down the road.
Yep. So I would like to propose a player intrusion that because the two DA bot 3s are tangled up in kind of a mess, and especially because my attacks ignore armor, I can hit both of them with my attacks this round.
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay. That, I believe, is an XP well spent. Okay. So, let's see. I'm up here. Well, we can't have that. Let's move down into the fight. There I am. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm invisible. I am going to do my Scratch Existence from short range. Let's see, what do we got here? That is eased by 4 steps. And I believe I have an asset because they're prone.
Indeed.
I hit them.
So the question is whether you want to roll it for the possibility of doing extra damage or more, or even more special effect.
No, it's doing 9 damage that ignores armor. I'm okay with that.
All right.
And then as a disrupting touch, follow up. That is, well, that's eased by only, oh, darn it. Okay. So let's, I do get 1 asset because they're prone. I will put 2 levels of effort into this. And that way I will, and yeah, one level into damage. And yes. So I am now doing 6 points of damage that ignores armor.
8. Okay, so you appear on the scene. Metal armor parts and other things go flying. Both of the robots have been pretty seriously damaged.
So I skid to the stop, kind of almost doing the 3-point landing version, but running his head. I believe I was requested.
All right. Black ice.
Okay, just for clarification, how big is each square on the map, like size-wise? How many feet by?
It's about like 3 feet by 3 feet. About room
Okay.
for a person to stand in.
Okay. And since I've never done this before, can I take a step as I'm doing an onslaught, or is that too different?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can
Awesome.
travel a
An immediate distance.
an immediate distance. So
Okay. Well, since the boys have been dealing with DA bots 3, I'm going to go for the puppy dog at the bottom.
all right.
I have gained a cipher that I'm going to activate as I'm doing an onslaught. Because I gained a cipher of metal death,
Oh,
which
no.
produces a stream of foam that covers an area of about 3 feet by 3 feet, transforming any metal that touches it into a substance as brittle as glass. So I am going to activate that so that it kicks in as I send an onslaught of ice towards the puppy dog.
Oh, that poor thing.
Brutal.
All right. Roll your attack.
And how much do I need? What's the...
Dog bots are target 4.
Okay. Target 4. I put 2 of effort and 2 of damage. No. 1 of damage. And so as I
Okay.
Nice.
shoot my ice in shuriken form, a sheet of ice goes against the guy and turns him into nice brittle metal just as my ice hits him.
Okay. Oh, I did. Excellent. So this turns out to be super effective. So DA bot 1 is made with a lot of plastic in them. Bots 2 and 3, on the other hand, are almost entirely made out of metal because they have to be tough and all of that, which doesn't work very well when they get made brittle and then hit with a nice, very cold, hard thing, and it shatters into pieces. And at
Good
the
boy. Stay.
and in the window to Sunbucks, where he's still standing there just watching all this happen, Statesman raises his cup of coffee like, good one there. All right. So,
Like that one? Ready for round 2.
Yeah.
so bot 3 takes its action to stand up. Other bot 3 takes its action to stand up. So they pull themselves out of the pile that they're in. Look slightly unhappy about the fact that one of their friends has just been turned into a pile of scrap. You see, and if Trash Squatch was here, you'd be all set.
See?
Okay, so that's bots 3. So, Paw.
Well, since they stood back up, and I'm not really happy about that, especially since their target's probably gonna be Neva. I'm going to go and pounce on them and see if I can kind of pounce and grab the one and roll into the other to try to be able to take them both back down in one motion.
And you get an asset on that from enable others.
Nice.
Thank you.
He's always an enabler. All right.
I'm
That'll be
helping.
target 5.
You said 5?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm helping.
And of note, taking out the 3 bots is probably a good idea because they both have pairs of machine guns on them, which might cause collateral damage if they actually manage to fire them.
Hey, I'm doing my best, man.
Asset. Level of effort. I have a crap ton of effort now. A level of effort, teeth attack, and a level of effort for extra damage.
Actually, Patrick, can I say that I ended my turn in immediate range of them?
Yes,
Excellent.
you can totally do that.
Excellent.
Okay, let's see.
That is 10 points of damage to them.
Good thing for them, they're fairly sturdy, but that's not going to last them forever.
Nope.
Okay. All right, so the dog bots, because they're next in initiative. Let's see, what are they going to do? Oh, I know exactly what they're going to do. The thing is, there's still 3 of them kicking around. They are going to stick with their solidarity motif, and they're all going to try to jump on Crash.
Okay.
So, Crash,
Mhm.
I will need you to make this. I know this is going to be so difficult for you. I would like you to make 2 speed defenses.
Okay. What are the difficulties?
They are going to be 4.
I make them.
Yep, that's what I figured. So, 2 of them try to jump at you.
Oh, even better.
Quite unsuccessfully, might I add. One of them is hanging back.
Okay.
You're not quite sure what it's doing, but it's doing something
Okay.
nefarious. And then on to DA Bot 1, who turns to Jack Duff and says, "How dare!"
Bring it,
And
buddy.
I would like you to make a speed defense target 3 as it tries to poke you with its mounted taser.
We negotiate in good faith.
Don't
The fact that
tase
you're
me.
standing on the grass is going to be a problem for it, but
Don't tase me, Brobot. Okay. So
it rolls forward, and you see the sparking happening between the 2 things. And so you take a step back, and it hits the edge of the grass, and then slows down a lot, leans forward a bit to try to get itself off of the sidewalk. It's not a very effective design, unfortunately.
okay. Because hold on, not done. because it attacked me and I successfully dodged. I'm going to use seize the moment.
Okay.
Which allows me, if I succeed on an speed defense roll, I basically can apply another level of effort to get a free action.
Okay.
I'm going to do that to chain activate rapid processing, which allows me to all speed tasks, including speed defense rolls, are eased. In addition, I can make 1 extra action at any time before the ability's duration expires, which I'm going to use that to activate deadly aim, which
All right.
gives me 2 additional points of damage. And my turn is done. Now let me figure out how much speed and intellect points I've just blown on all of that. But hey, it's a new power set. I wanted to play with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Okay, please continue.
All right. So, on to the next round. Gene, I'd like to propose an intrusion for you. Oh, I
You're
can't hear
muted.
you.
You're muted.
I said, propose away, my friend.
All right. You have to accept it in chat.
Yep.
Ugh,
And
fine.
who will you be giving the other point to?
Black ice.
Okay. The remaining Dogbot, while in between you and him, Jack is doing a delightful job of beating up on DA Bot 1. Bot 2 turns and looks at you.
Is this the one that's next to DA Bot 1?
Yes.
Okay, the other two are
Which
out
one?
of commission by crash.
Yes.
Are they still active?
No, those two, the 2 by crash are still active.
Mhm.
Okay,
The 2
all
threes
right.
is still active. It's just the one Dogbot is out of commission, so this is the one that is working here.
Got it.
Turns to you and in an entirely different voice says, "Did your kind come this far just to hold down my kind?" And you're kind of wondering because who's talking to you now, because you don't really think it's the robot.
As soon as I hear so I hear the
Are you going to engage with it, or are you going to try to carry on with the combat?
So first thing that I do, having heard the different voice and it using your kind, I check in with Eddie
Mm-hmm.
and go, is he talking to you or is he talking to me?
I think he's talking to us. Both.
Hold on, let me.
Unfortunately,
still
there's not a status.
What? Go ahead.
No, so unfortunately, there's not a status effect for embroiled in a philosophical conversation with a robot security dog, but that is your current status. All right,
Pat.
Jack.
Oh, okay.
We will carry this as we get back around to its turn, so it can engage you again.
Mm.
So, Jack, that little bastard tried to shock you.
Well, I'm gonna
That
do
might have
something
left a
shocking back.
scorch on your pants if it actually touched you.
How dare you? All right. Forget it's a robot. I did a nice headshot, but that's not where it keeps its brain. So let's try this again. Was it difficulty 3 still?
Yep.
I think actually this auto succeeds. So at this point,
Okay.
because I've got the extra easement up, I'm gonna roll it anyway just to see what happens. Said click.
There you go.
All right, so that's 6 points of damage.
Okay.
As I go for more center mass.
Okay. You once again blow a really good hole in it. This thing's not looking so good anymore. It's starting to like actively spark, and there's some smoke coming out of places where smoke probably shouldn't be coming out of.
Why? Why was I programmed to feel pain?
All right, crash.
Alrighty. So speaking of new power sets, when I come out of phase sprint at the beginning of my turn, I'm activating phase detonation, which does 4 points of damage that ignores armor to all creatures and objects within immediate range.
Oof.
So that's 4 damage to the 2 dog bots and the 2 Eds.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
The other two here. There we go. Okay.
Okay. And I am going to, for the first time in a long time in combat, take a recovery roll.
Ooh.
Well, my might's down to 8 out of 20. Make that 17 out of 20, and I activate Hidden Reserves, which raises my might and speed edge by 1 for the next 10 minutes or hour. I can't remember. Regardless, the rest of the fight.
All right. Okay, Neva, you've blown one of these suckers into oblivion.
Felt absolutely no remorse for it. So the
Oh, they think
DA
they're people.
the DA bot that's immediately next to me, the one on top of the 2,
Yes.
I'm going to aim a blast of very cold using my fire and ice skill that allows him to suffer 3 points of ambient damage, ignoring armor for up to 3 rounds. But I'm also going to, which one is it? Use my, that's not it. Energy boost, which is a cipher that allows me to use a stat pool cost of 0 for it, because this one likes to eat my stat pools like you wouldn't believe. So, where the hell is it? What is my target?
Target for those guys is 5.
5. Okay. Effort to ease 2, and I'm going to do a damage effort because I can. Yeah.
Nice.
Booyah.
Shakalaka.
Okay. Is it? It's about one more round to live. Woo! Okay. So now we're on to bots 3. Let's see. So the first bot's going to attempt to shoot ice. So speed defense, target 5.
The defense.
Sorry, when you said shoots ice, my first thought was that you actually meant it was like shooting a blast of ice. Like, well, that's not going to do any good against her.
True. All right. And DA bot 3 number 2 is going to take a shot at Paw.
I would expect no less. Actually,
All right. So speed
also-
defense, target 5.
Defense. 5. Oh,
Oh. All right. Takes 7 points of damage. Minus for your armor, of course.
7 points of speed. There we go. Okay.
All right. And you are up next.
So I'm hoping that this will actually work on them. I am going to pop a CYPHER. Shock attack. Level 4. For the next day, each time the user strikes a solid creature or object, the attack generates a burst of electricity, inflicting 1 additional point of damage. 2 points if its CYPHER is level 4 or higher, which it is. 3 points if it's 6 or higher. So,
All right. And you might as well swing at him while we're at it, because we don't want the fight to go on forever.
yeah,
Yeah, I have to get up at 5:25.
yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna do it unarmed and just
Yep. Modify as
Yeah.
appropriate.
5.
Okay, which one are you going after?
The one on top, the one closer to me.
Okay. No, he's about to have a bad day.
And a little effort. There we go.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna put the extra 3 points.
Okay, might I make a suggestion that
Mhm.
for your minor effect, you are going to blow through this guy in glorious fashion fairly quickly. So I would suggest that the remaining damage left over from however much it takes to take this guy offline blows into the next one next to him instead.
I am good with that.
You want to use successive attack?
What was that?
I said, do you want to use successive attack?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
Yep.
I forgot about that. So 11 plus another 2 points of damage. So yeah, Patrick, well, however that needs to get split up.
Oof. Okay. Unfortunately, this is the one that is already, has a pool of ice that's freezing it to death. So you just so the one shoots at you. You're very unhappy about this. So you go over and you rip it a new one, and then hit the other one with that one. Because remember, you have a might boost, so you kind of pick it up, just smash them into each other, and break them both.
When you get
Leaving
so
them
mad that you hit a
delightfully
dude with another dude.
Yes.
So I put some dudes in your dudes so you could dude your dudes.
That's right. See, I'm the dude for playing another dude, pretending to be another dude.
Crash sees this, looks up at Paul and goes,
Okay, so
I didn't catch a look. I still had the game screen up.
So DA bots 1 and 2 fail to attack Crash again because, well, he is way faster than them.
What is, because remember, I am actually not phased right now.
Oh,
so what is their difficulty?
4.
I believe I do actually have to roll that.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because it is
defenses.
2
speed defenses.
Okay. Now granted they're lowered to a difficulty of 1, but that's fine. Oh no! That'll be an XP. Actually, no, you know what? No, it won't. Just hit me. Just hit me. So how much damage does this one do?
This one does 2 points of damage.
Okay. -1 from my hard-won resilience armor. Okay.
All right. And roll the defense against the other one.
Okay.
And then I will finish the intrusion.
Here we go. Okay.
Okay. So the one leaps at you. Actually, they both leap at you at the same time. You dodge the one, but you fail to hit the other one, who bowls into your legs, knocks you onto your butt, and then once it stops its maneuver, turns back to you and starts laughing at you. You are. Let's see. Okay, so you've been knocked prone and are being mocked by a frickin' robot dog. Okay, and that takes us down to DA Bot 1, who is yet again going to attempt to tase Jackdaw. So, be defense, target 3. Give it some credit. This is probably the last thing it's ever going to do in this universe.
One can but hope.
Okay. The difficulty is what again?
3.
Yeah. I current state of heightened awareness. I don't have to roll for that. I just back up. I am going to use the what is it? Seize the moment. And attack it again. Just sort of back up while calmly
drilling another bullet into it.
Just firing rounds into it. And that's another 6 points of damage.
All right. DA Bot 1 is deceased.
Nice.
It finally stops moving or acting. It doesn't die in glorious fashion. It's just, you hit it and it just stops moving. And so the remaining DA Bot 2 carries on, continues its conversation with Gene to interrupt him for a round. But the important thing I think that you will need to realize, as advanced and ancient as you may be, I am better than you, and I will forgive you for your actions today. Gene, you're up. This fucker just called you a primitive asshole.
Right?
I love villains.
Yep.
They're so much fun.
Okay. I want to do an interaction roll so that I can be. Wait, what do I have? So I can do I want to intimidate this fucker. Let me just be flat out.
Okay.
Where is that? Difficulty 5?
4.
4. 2 levels of effort. Okay.
Nice.
So this is how this plays out. How tall are the dog bots? How tall are they at the shoulder?
About up to about your hip level.
Okay.
So they're fairly sizable, but not like gigantic robots. Or
Okay.
anything.
So all right.
The 3s are big.
Sure. Oh yeah. No doubt. Okay. I tap into Eddie after this is said. It's like, I need your help. And I leap. I go for the shoulder. I launch like a lineman. I push the dog down so it just basically it falls over, and symbolically only I realize it's a fucking robot, but I've got my hand on its neck, and that kind of lizard brain connects with Eddie, and I turn on the same thing that I turned on with Crash in the car coming back, and the eyes go and the voice changes, and I tell it, "You listen to me, and you listen to me well. I have outlived you. I have outlived your kind. We are chosen for a special mission, the importance of which you can't even begin to comprehend. You either explain to me your source and your purpose, or prepare to be terminated on the spot."
It is thoroughly intimidating. There you go. Frightened. I think that's a good status for it. All right. Jack. Oh, look at
Alrighty
that.
then.
So the one bot is currently here is it? Being held down by Gene, and you would swear if it had a bladder, it would have released it.
A little bit of oil leaks from the hindquarters.
There you go.
But there are still two bots surrounding Crash, one of whom is laughing at Crash, might I add, and you've still got some bullets in your gun.
Okay, well, only I get to pick on Crash, so I am going to, I don't know, how far can I step?
I figure you can step one or two.
Okay, so I move out of here so I get a line.
So you aren't
And-
accidentally shooting one of your friends in the back of the head.
Yeah,
That'd be tragic.
Generally
hear about
considered
that.
bad form. Yeah.
yeah, generally looks bad, and I'm going to take a pot shot at Laughing Boy here.
All right. Oh, he is target 4.
Okay, that's good enough. So, Alka
Okay.
Blam, 6 points.
All right. And that next gives us Crash.
Hold on. I am having a lot of trouble with Foundry right now. Letting me click. Okay. So, let me see what I can do. So what I'm going to do, so I'll at least explain what I'm going to do. I am going to turn on phase sprint again and do phase detonation at the beginning. So I'm doing another 4 points of damage to each of the dog bots.
Okay.
Are they still up?
Yes.
Okay. Then I am going to, here I am. Now I'm back in business. I am going to then, so I'm prone, so that's a hindrance to an attack, but I'm also in immediate range, so that should cancel each other out. So I'm going to do I'm just going straight phased, not phased invisible, because that'll cost too many damn points. I'm going to do my scratch existence against the one on my left here.
Okay. All right, so he's still target 4.
I Sorry, technical difficulties.
Please stand by.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, scratch existence. Here we go. Now, okay. I would like to roll this, please. Come on. All right. Their target 3, you said?
4.
Oh, target 4. Okay. Yeah, I will put a level of effort into this.
Ooh.
So here's the thing. I have increased effects on might attack actions. So I treat rolls of 19 as a roll of 20.
Okay.
How hurt does this guy look?
He looks pretty hurt.
Do I think that the 4 points is going... Do I think that he will be destroyed with just the 4, or should I add on the extra damage?
I'd add the extra damage on.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll do that. So I will be doing 8 damage to him that ignores armor.
Okay. Oof.
And then I will turn around and do the disrupting touch to the other one. And sure, I'll put in a level of effort for that too, because I didn't actually spend anything on the last one. Yep, 4 points that ignores armor.
Okay. And that next brings up ice.
Now, more than move closer. So I'm just going to use.
Zenith?
Up. I'm moving over to Jean to
Okay.
just provide some backup. That'll be my action is moving.
Okay. Right. And that next, that would be 2 deceased ones. And next is Paw.
Okay, okay, I'm going
That's
to
still up
jump.
and attacking.
What was that?
So we have the one that's still up and attacking.
Yes, I'm gonna go after the one that is right next to Crash,
Okay.
and I am going to excuse me. And as another, I'm going to second it said jump, pounce, swipe.
All right. Target 4.
Real.
And don't forget you have an acid on that, but
Oh.
probably doesn't matter. So
Okay, that's 9 points of damage.
Okay. And boom. DA bot 2. Number 3 is down. And the last one is thoroughly intimidated and will run at its first opportunity, assuming it's given that. And that ends our combat.
Woot.
woot.
So, Gene, are you going to do anything with this guy, or are you going to let it take off?
Oh, he's got to answer some questions.
New puppy.
Okay. All right. So,
in his intimidated state, so I'm still like I'm asserting dominance, and I call in for everybody in the team. It says, if you've disposed of your adversaries, I need you circled around this one now.
You know, if we take its legs off, it still should be functional, just can't run.
Correct.
Or are
You're
you going to
very
be a good
correct.
boy?
Put it in stasis, so it can't move.
There is that too.
this wouldn't be the first robot dog that she's frozen and taken back to the shop.
Yeah.
True.
and I stand over it and I hit it and I hiss just enough. Just
So, meanwhile, and I'm so, um, after everybody's assembled, I maintain eye contact and say, "What happens to you next completely depends on the next words you speak. Who are you? Who sent you?"
I would like to give Gene an asset on this by doing the buzzsaw hand and looking at it hungrily.
It maintains its it's still very intimidated posture, and it says, "Me, I'm DA Bot 2 number serial number 2854,
No, you are not.
and I have been working with Exa."
with who?
Exa.
I turn to Jack.
The
The
so the
chick
guy that's taken over a good chunk of Eastern Europe,
Oh, that guy. Okay.
or lady, I think. I think the consular said Exa was a she.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
So Exa is one of your people, then, Gene. Or at least we think.
My people.
Okay,
No,
your buddy's
Exa,
people.
Oh,
Exa
No, Exa's-
addressed herself as being of a different kind than him.
Oh, okay. Well, some
they
sort
are
of
the Borg.
okay. So what is your purpose?
Peace.
By what means and at what cost?
Oh, the cost is simple, is to get rid of greatness.
Gonna nickname you Syndrome. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Okay. Let me see. Code. Yeah, did that. Right. Right. Okay. No, that's fine. Especially restraint persuasion. Okay. Um, I ask it, weird question to ask, so I'm like blanking on the wording, but so I look at it. Is your voice your own, or were you put there?
It speaks, but this time with the other voice again. And it says, "Like all of us, we are all ourselves, but we are all part of the group." And then the lights power off in it. And the robot shuts down.
That's a fucking Borg.
It's a Borg. Told ya.
Yep.
So
I was tempted to make a Borg enemy from Scandinavia, so it would be Bjorn Borg.
Mm.
Well,
It is
you-
way
you-
too late for your crap.
You could have kept the dog bots, and it would have been Bjorkborg. Bjork.
All right, and I think that's good for tonight.
I think that is a great place to call it. So, everyone, this has been issue 24 of The Powers That Be. This one was called The Boys Are Back in Town. So we're going to shoot a quick after show, get out of here, because we're all middle-aged and have jobs. But in the meantime, for Patrick, ECAT, Matt, Julian, Ray, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple. Good night, everybody.